Vasudeva Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Avatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike. So, continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya Lila, Chapter 4, Sanatana Goswami visits the Lord at Jagannath Puri, text 49. So, yesterday we studied how Sanatana Goswami came to Jagannath Puri, stayed at the Siddha Bakul, where Ardas Thakur was staying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come every day to see Haridas Thakur. So, he came and he saw Sanatana Goswami also. So he said, it's very good that you have arrived here. Now stay in this room with Haridas Thakur. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Duhe Parama Pradhana Krishna Rasa Swadan Kara Laha Krishna Nam. Both of you are expert in understanding the mellows of Lord Krishna's devotional service. Therefore, you should both continue relishing the taste for such activities and chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Ete bali Mahaprabhu uthiya chalila, Govinda dwaraye duhe prasad pathaila. Having said this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and left, and through Govinda, he sent prasadam for them to eat. Ei mat sanatan rahe prabhu sthane, Jagannather chakra deki karena praname. In this way, Sanatana Goswami stayed under the care of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would see the wheel on the pinnacle of the Jagannath temple and offer respectful obeisances. Prabhuvasi pratidin milen dui jane, ishta goshti Krishna katha kahe katakshane. Every day Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go there to meet these two stalwart devotees and discuss topics of Krishna with them for some time. Divya Prashad Paya Nitya Jagannath Mandir Tahani Nitya Avashya Dena Dohakare. The offering of Prashadam in the temple of Lord Jagannath were of the highest quality. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would bring this Prashadam and deliver it to the two devotees. Ek din Ashi Prabhu Duhare Milila Sanatane Achambite Kahite Lagila. One day when the Lord came to meet them, he suddenly began speaking to Sanatan Goswami. Sanatan deha tyage Krishna yadi paye, koti deha kshane ke tabe chadite pari. My dear Sanatan, he said, if I could attain Krishna by committing suicide, I would certainly give up millions of bodies without a moment's hesitation. देह त्यागे कृष्ण न पाई पाइये भजने कृष्ण प्राप्तेर उपाय कौन नाहि भक्ति बीने. You should know that one cannot attain Krishna simply by giving up the body. Krishna is attainable by devotional service. There is no other means for attaining him. So this was for Sanatana Goswami when he was contemplating that he will, next Rath Yatra, he will commit suicide by coming under the wheels of Lord Jagannath's chariot. But he did not say it to anybody. But Mahaprabhu is Paramatma also, he knows everything. Deha tyagadi yatad sab tamo dharma, tamo rajo dharme krishner na paye marm. Acts such as suicide are influenced by the mode of ignorance, and in ignorance and passion, one cannot understand who Krishna is. Bhakti vina Krishna kabu nahe premodaye, prema vina Krishna prapti anya haitanaye. Unless one discharges devotional service, one cannot awaken one's dormant love of Krishna. And there is no means for attaining him other than awakening that dormant love. Na sadhyati mama yogo, na sangyam dharma uddhava, na swadhyayas tapastyago, yatha bhaktir mamurjita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, said, my dear Uddhav, neither through Ashtanga Yoga, the mystic yoga system, for controlling the senses, nor through impersonal monism or an analytical study of the absolute truth, not through study of the Vedas, not through austerities, charity, or acceptance of sannyas, can one satisfy me as much as by developing unalloyed devotion service unto. So Krishna has clearly said this. There's no other way I can be satisfied except by performing devotional service. देह त्याग आदि तमो धर्म पातक कारण साधक न पाए ताते कृष्णेर चरण. Measures like suicide are causes for sin. A devotee never achieves shelter at Krishna's lotus feet by such actions. Never achieves shelter. Mahaprabhu is saying. Many times we hear of people committing suicide or doing different types of activity. Like here also in America, many years ago, there was a group. They called themselves spiritualists, and very well means educated people in that group, and they had money also, rich people. So in that group, one day or a week before that date, the leader said, somehow they were just following that leader blindly. The leader said that on this particular day, there's a particular combination of planets, and if we die that day, we'll all attain heaven. And they all committed suicide that day, thinking this is how we'll go to heaven. See, one thing from that people are interested in spirituality, that's for sure. They want to know the truth. But if they don't know where to approach, or the real people don't approach them properly with the books, with the scriptures, they will be misled by such so-called leaders. And definitely Mahaprabhu is saying suicide. By committing suicide, one never achieves shelter at Krishna's lotus feet. One commits or even thinks of committing suicide when one is in great depression, just like in Sanatana Goswami's case, he was thinking, he was not in great depression, he's a devotee, Paramhansa. But he's thinking like that. Or one is like completely frustrated in his life because of whatever reason, mental or financial or relationship, because of relationship. I mean, so the point is, one should be guided properly, and that is where the preachers come in. We have to learn the science to whatever extent, and we have to guide people properly, teach them the right way. Everybody has problems. Who doesn't have a problem? Everybody has. It's just we have to tell them the right thing in a proper, acceptable way, and engage them in the devotional service. So this is where the devotees, they have to be very careful and very active in preaching. Just like there is a case when every year marathon book, Gita marathon time, I believe it happened in Mumbai, and devotees were doing book marathon, Gita distribution, and they were just knocking at doors and offering them Bhagavad Gita. And one lady opened the door, and actually she was about to commit suicide when this devotee happened to come at her door. And she just started asking questions, and the devotee answered many things, explaining. The devotee didn't know she was about to commit suicide. And then devotee offered her Bhagavad Gita and other books. She took the book, she read, and she just didn't commit suicide. So many examples are there. So it's the point is we have to be preaching. And even if we don't know anything, at least we should give books to somebody for them to read, and Prabhupada can preach through his books. That's why it's very, very important service. Anyway, let's see what this pastime is going towards. Premi bhakta viyoge chahe deh chhadi the, preme Krishna mele seha na pare mari te. Because of feelings of separation from Krishna, an exalted devotee sometimes wants to give up his life. By such ecstatic love, however, one attains the audience of Krishna, and at that time he cannot give up his body. So that's feeling of separation from Krishna, that's a different story. Like Raghunath Das Goswami, when Mahaprabhu unmanifested his pastimes, then Raghunath Das Goswami was so much in separation from Mahaprabhu, he went from Jagannath Puri to Vrindavan. And then his point was he wanted to go on top of Govardhan and jump from there and commit suicide. Rupa and Sanatan Goswami told him not to do so. They said, just sit down and do it. Go ahead. Don't do things like that. But this is what he wanted to do. Gada anuragera viyoga na jaye sahan, tate anuragi vanchayapana maran. One who is deeply in love with Krishna cannot tolerate separation from the Lord. Therefore, such a devotee always desires his own death. Yasyangri pankaj rajasnapanam mahanto vanchanti umapatir ivatma tamo apahatyai. Yarhi ambujakshana labheya bhavat prasadam jayam asuna vrata krishnan chat janma bhi syat. O lotus-eyed one, great personalities like Lord Shiva desire to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet to drive away ignorance. If I do not get the mercy of your lordship, I shall observe vows to reduce the duration of my life, and thus I shall give up bodies for hundreds of births if it is possible to get your mercy that way. This verse was spoken by Rukmani Devi in Srimad Bhagavatam. Rukmani Devi, the daughter of King Bhishmak, had heard about Krishna's transcendental attributes, and thus she desired to get Krishna as her husband. Unfortunately, her elder brother Rukmi was envious of Krishna and therefore wanted her to be offered to Shishupal. When Rukmini became aware of this, she was greatly aggrieved. Thus she wrote Krishna a confidential letter, which was presented and read to him by a Brahmin messenger. This verse appeared in that letter. So of course, here it was because of love for Krishna, she could not think of marrying Shishupal. So she's telling Krishna, if I don't get your mercy, I'm going to commit suicide. For hundreds of births, I'll do that. Shinchanga nastvad adhramrita purakena hasavalokal gita jahricha chayangani no chedavayam virah jagani upayukta deha dhyanena yama padayo padavim sakete. O dear Krishna, by your smiling glances and melodious talk, you have awakened a fire of lusty desire in our hearts. Now you should extinguish the fire with a stream of nectar from your lips by kissing us. Kindly do this, otherwise, dear friend, the fire within our hearts will burn our bodies to ashes because of separation from you. Thus, by meditation, we shall claim shelter at your lotus feet. This verse was spoken by the gopis when they were attracted by the vibration of Krishna's flute in the moonlight of autumn. All of them being maddened came to Krishna, but to increase their ecstatic love, Krishna gave them moral instructions to return home. The gopis did not care for these instructions. They wanted to be kissed by Krishna, for they had come there with lusty desires to dance with him. So these examples are different. They are out of love for Krishna and the separation because of that, and they could not take it. Kubudhi chhadiya kar shravana kirtan achirat pave tabe Krishnera chara. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami, give up all your nonsensical desires, for they are unfavorable for getting shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Engage yourself in chanting and hearing, then you will soon achieve the shelter of Krishna without a doubt. नीच जाति न है कृष्ण भजे अयोग्य भजने अयोग्य सतकुल विप्र न है भजनेर योग्य. A person born in a low family is not unfit for discharging devotional service to Lord Krishna, nor is one fit for devotional service simply because he is born in an aristocratic family of Brahmins. Means everybody is fit. ये भजे सही बड़ा अभक्त हीन चार Krishna bhajane nahi jati kuladi vichar. Anyone who takes to devotional service is exalted, whereas a non-devotee is always condemned and abominable. Therefore, in the discharge of devotional service to the Lord, there is no consideration of the status of one's family. So anyone who takes to devotional service is exalted, no matter who takes it. And one who doesn't, as Mahaprabhu said, he is condemned and abominable. दीनेर अधिक दया करे भगवान कुलीन पंडित धनीर बड़ा अभिमान. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is always favorable to the humble and meek. But aristocrats, learned scholars, and the wealthy are always proud of their positions. Viprad Dvishad Guna Yatad Arvind Nabha Padarvind Vimukhat Shvapacham Varishtam. Manya tadarpita mano vachane hitartha pranam punati sakulam natu puri mana. One may be born in a Brahmin family and have all 12 Brahminical qualities, but if in spite of being thus qualified, he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandal who has dedicated his mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the service of the Lord. Even Chandal. So Brahman versus Chandal. Simply to take birth in a Brahman family or to have Brahmanical qualities is not sufficient. One must be a pure devotee of the Lord. Thus, if a Shopach or Chandal is a devotee, he delivers not only himself, but his entire family as well. Whereas a Brahman who is not a devotee, but simply has Brahminical qualifications, cannot even purify himself, what to speak of his family. This is verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. But it doesn't mean being a Brahman, one is condemned. If one is born in a Brahminical family, he must have done plenty of pious activities in previous births. So such birth is not that easy. And Krishna also says, or Lord Vishnu, the yajna, when he eats through the mouth of Brahmins. So Brahmins are very, very important in Varnashram system for scriptural reading and doing yajnas and teaching yajnas to others, teaching scriptures to others. Very important. But here just a comparison being made between a Vaishnava who could be a Shopach or Chandal, but he's a Vaishnava, he's a devotee, and a regular Smarta Brahman. But nevertheless, Brahmins are very important. That's why Krishna has created that Varnashram and everywhere. And Krishna also is called No Brahman Devai Go Brahmanitai Jagaditai Krishna Govindai. No Brahman Devai Go Brahmanitai. Means he likes cows and Brahmins. These are the two he is always close to. He has attachment from. But yes, his devotees come in a separate category. That's for sure. But this doesn't mean the Brahmins are bad. Nowhere it says that. Bhajaner madhya shreshta nava vida bhakti, Krishna prema Krishna tite dhare mahashakti. Among the ways of executing devotional service, the 9 prescribed methods are the best. For these processes have great potency to deliver Krishna and ecstatic love for him. And what are nice? Navada Bhakti, the 9 kinds of devotional service are mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. These 9 are hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, offering service to Krishna's lotus feet, offering worship in the temple, offering prayers, working as a servant, making friendship with Krishna, and unreservedly surrendering to Krishna. These 9 processes of devotional service can grant one Krishna an ecstatic love for him. In the beginning, one has to discharge devotional service according to regulative principles. But gradually, as devotional service becomes one's life and soul, one achieves the most exalted position of ecstatic love for Krishna. Ultimately, Krishna is the goal of life. One need not have taken birth in an aristocratic Brahmin family to attain the lotus feet of Krishna, nor is a person born in a low family unfit for achieving Krishna's lotus feet. So anybody and everybody who has performed or who is performing devotion service, they can achieve Krishna's lotus feet. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Devaki says to Kapil Dev, Aho Bashvu Pacho Tugariya. Oh my Lord, even a person born in a low family of dog eaters is glorious if he always chants the holy name of the Lord. Such a person has already performed all types of austerities, penances, and Vedic sacrifices, has already bathed in all the sacred rivers and also studied all the Vedic literature. Thus, he has become an exalted personality. So, listening or reading this shloka and Prabhupada's translation and commentary on this, devotees asked Prabhupada, devotees from America. So, Prabhupada, now we are chanting the holy names. So, do you think in our previous lives we have done all these austerities, penances, Vedic sacrifices, bathing in sacred rivers, studied all the Vedic literature? So, we have done all these pious activities, so now we got this chance to chant the holy name. Prabhupada said, I made your pious activities a good fortune. Now go back and do your service. It might be so. Prabhupada, just out of his merciful nature, he has done it. Because devotee, for a devotee like Prabhupada, he can change somebody's life, somebody's destiny. Not difficult for him. Just like Krishna. Krishna is supremely independent. He's not dependent on one's devotional activities to give his mercy. Of course, and from our side, we have to perform devotional service. But Krishna is not dependent. And similarly, a person like Srila Prabhupada, he is also not bound by all these rules. But this is, yes, a devotee should feel, not that I have done everything, that's why I'm chanting, but he should feel, yeah, it's a mercy of Prabhupada that I have been able to chant or perform other devotion services. I'm not qualified. But Bhagavatam says, and Bhagavatam is also true, no doubt, but we should not become proud. That, see, I have done everything, this is what Bhagavatam says, and I'm better than uh, any Brahman or all the Brahmans or the pujaris in the temples or just Brahmins. No. Then we're not understanding the purpose of these verses. It's just we have to become more and more Similarly, Kunti Devi says to Lord Krishna, Janma Aishwarya Shruta Shri Edavan Madahato. A person who is proud of his birth, opulence, knowledge, and beauty cannot achieve your lotus feet. You are available only to the humble and meek, not to the proud. So whether we are proud that with our birth came all this high birth or opulence, knowledge, and beauty, or whether we have achieved it later, or or because I'm a devotee of the Lord, initiated devotee, and now I'm doing this service or that service, and I have these many followers, so one becomes proud of them. That's not how we attain Krishna. Every time, this should be our focus, that somehow or other, Prabhupada and his followers have helped me on this path, and I'm always ever grateful to them. And I have no other qualification other than the mercy. That's all. Of course, that doesn't mean I don't do any service. I'm just waiting for the mercy. No, I'm not qualified, but they have engaged me, and I want to remain engaged so that I get more mercy. तार मध्य सर्वश्रेष्ठ नाम संख्या निरपराधे नाम लैले पाए प्रेम Tar Madhya means among all the devotional activities of the 9 processes of devotion service, the most important is to always chant the holy name of the Lord. If one does so, avoiding the 10 kinds of offenses, one very easily obtains the most valuable love of God. Simple. Shrilajiv Goswami Prabhu gives the following directions in his Bhakti Sandarbha. Chanting the holy name is a chief means of attaining love of God. This chanting or devotional service does not depend on any paraphernalia, nor on one's having taken birth in a good family. By humility and meekness, one attracts the attention of Krishna. That is the verdict of all the Vedas. Therefore, if one becomes very humble and meek, he can easily attain the lotus feet of Krishna in this age of Kali. That is the fulfillment of all Vedic sacrifices, penances, and austerities, because when one achieves ecstatic love of God, he attains the complete perfection of life. Therefore, whatever one does in executing devotional service must be accompanied by the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, has been praised by Rupa Goswami in his Namastakam. Nikhil Shruti Moli Ratna Mala, Duti Nirajita Pada Pankajanta, Aye Mukta Kulera Upasiman, Paritas Pam Harina Samshriya. O Harinam, the tip of the toes of your lotus feet are constantly being worshipped by the glowing radiance emanating from the string of gems known as Upanishads, the crown jewels of all the Vedas. You are eternally adored by liberated souls such as Narad and Shukdev. O Harinam, I take complete shelter of you. See, every Acharya has stressed on chanting of the holy names. Just we have to take it seriously. Similarly, Sanatan Goswami has praised the chanting of the holy name as followed in his Brihad Bhagavad. Jayati Jayati Namananda Rupam Murarera Viramita Nij Dharma Dhyana Bhujadi Yat Katham Api Sakrit Atam Mukti Dam Prani Nam Yat Paramam Amritam Ekam Jivanam Bhushanam. All glories to the all blissful holy name of Shri Krishna, which causes the devotee to give up all conventional religious duties, meditation, and worship. When some or other uttered even once by a living entity, the holy name evolves in liberation. The holy name of Krishna is the highest nectar. It is my very life and my only treasure. And as Haridas Thakur has explained earlier, that liberation one can get only by Namabhas. No big deal. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami says, Etat nirvidyamana. O king, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord, after the ways of the great authorities, is a doubtless and fearless way of success for them, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So further, Yamaraj says in Bhagavatam, devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. And Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtaka that one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So this is how powerful and how important chanting is. Among all activities of devotion service, chanting is considered the most important. Ete shuni sanatanera haila chamatkara prabhurena bhai mora navarana vichara. After hearing this, Sanatana Goswami was exceedingly astonished. He could understand. My decision to commit suicide has not been greatly appreciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvagya Mahaprabhu nishedhila more, Prabhura charanadhari kahe na tahare. Sanatana Goswami concluded, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who knows everything, past, present, and future, has forbidden me to commit suicide. He then fell down, touching the lotus feet of the Lord, and spoke to him as follows. Sarvagya kripalu tumi ishvara swatantra, yaiche nachao taiche nache yena kashta yantra. My Lord, you are the omniscient, merciful, independent, supreme Lord. Exactly like an instrument of wood, I dance as you make me do so. And further, ni chadam pamar mui pamara swabhava, mor jiyale tomar kibaha bela. I am lowborn indeed, I am the lowest. I am condemned, for I have all the characteristics of a sinful man. If you keep me alive, what will be the profit? Prabhu kehe tomar dehe mor nijadhan, tumi mor kariyacha atma samarpan. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, your body is my property. You have already surrendered unto me. Therefore, you no longer have any claim to your body. This is how Mahaprabhu or Krishna looks at the bodies of devotees. Your body is my property now. It was always his property. All the elements of body comes from Krishna. But when somebody surrenders means my body, my mind, my words, everything is your property for your glorification. You use it as you want. This is what Arjun also says. Krishna says to Arjun, Nimitta matra bhava sabyasachi. Just become a nimitta matra. Means I'll use you the way I want to. That is surrender. Parera durabe tumi kene chaha vinashite, dharma vichara kibana par karite. Why should you want to destroy another's property? Can't you consider what is right and wrong? तुम्हारे शरीर मोर प्रधान साधन यही शरीरे साधी मुआमी बहु प्रयोजन. Your body is my principal instrument for executing many necessary functions. By your body I shall carry out many tasks. Bhakta bhakti Krishna prema tatvera nirdhara Vaishnavera kritya ara Vaishnava achara. You shall have to ascertain the basic principles of a devotee, devotion, service, love of Godhead, Vaishnava duties, and Vaishnava characteristics. These all Mahaprabhu had taught Sanatana Goswami in Varanasi for 2 months. Krishna Bhakti, Krishna Prema, Seva Paravartana, Lupta Tirtha Uddhara, Vairagya Shiksha. You will also have to explain Krishna's devotion service, establish centers for cultivation of love of Krishna, excavate lost places of pilgrimage, and teach people how to adopt the renounced order. निज प्रिय स्थान मोर मथुरा वृंदावन तहाँ एक धर्म चाहे करिते प्रचार. Mathura Vrindavan is my own very dear abode. I want to do many things there to preach Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to accomplish many purposes through the exegetical endeavors of Srila Sanatana Goswami. First, Sanatana Goswami compiled a book called Brihad Bhagavatamrita to teach people how to become devotees, execute devotion service, and attain love of Krishna. Second, he compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas, wherein he collected authoritative scriptural injunctions regarding how a Vaishnava should behave. Only by the endeavors of Sri Sanatana Goswami were all the lost places of pilgrimage in the Vrindavan area excavated. He established Madan Mohan, the first deity in the Vrindavan area, and by his personal behavior, he taught how one should act in the renounced order, completely devoted to the service of the Lord. By his personal example, he taught how to stay in Vrindavan to execute devotion service. The principal mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to preach Krishna consciousness. Mathura and Vrindavan are the abodes of Lord Krishna. Therefore, these two places are very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he wanted to develop their glories to Sanatana Goswami. So I guess we can stop. We will take up this conversation further tomorrow. See anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.